following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
For the first time since the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, they have put together back-to-back 12-win seasons. Welcome to a Friday edition of Mick Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola as we return to the days of Super Bowl winning teams with back-to-back 12-win seasons. Mickey, how's that spinning it positive?
12-4 seasons.
That's 12-4. That's right.
Even though there's another game to play.
Another one can go for 13 here next week against Washington.
Lucky number 13.
And you guys need to be good because I met a whole bunch of Cowboy fans yesterday that listen to Mick Shots.
Really?
So don't let them down. Okay?
And you got in when?
I think by the time I got home, we landed right a little bit after.
I didn't mean to stump you with this question.
I was just trying to remember. I ain't got a lot of sleep here. Probably got home at 3 o'clock.
All right, so you're rested and ready.
Got my 4 hours sleep.
There you go. All right, and here
we
are.
What do you need?
Here we are as we wrap up what happened on Thursday night and look ahead to a New Year's weekend. Just one more game now left in this season. And where is this Cowboys team now as we sit here 12-4 at the new year?
Well, they are guaranteed the 5th seed in the NFC playoff, nothing less than that. Mm-hmm. I think they're probably guaranteed, unless something really weird happens, they're playing the division champ of the NFC South, Tampa Bay or Carolina, and that should be decided.
Or New Orleans.
That's a long shot. And Tampa Bay and Carolina play this Sunday, so we'll see how that.
And New Orleans plays Philadelphia, and Cowboys fans want a Saints win in Philly.
So the Cowboys,
That's not gonna happen.
by winning.
That's why he said it's a long shot.
Yeah. The Cowboys, by winning, at least put the pressure on the Eagles that they have to win one more game.
But we don't want to make it too easy for them. You
No.
know, we don't want them coasting out. To
They
the end of
thought
the
they
season.
had a cakewalk
Yes,
at
they
13-1 until the Cowboys showed up, right?
Right. That's right.
And now they got to make a decision when they put Jalen Hurts back on the field.
He's practicing.
He is
week?
practicing.
He did practice
according
this
to
week.
the head coach, if you believe the head coach,
Yeah.
he looked good in practice yesterday.
After the okie doke that
His legs look good in practice. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
He didn't specify.
after the okie doke that Tennessee pulling the starting quarterback the day of the game and saying, "Okay, we're going to go with this guy that just showed up 9 days ago."
Yeah.
And
he played much better than the guy the Cowboys would have
right.
faced.
And I think he won the backup job going forward.
And so
if
he's
they
going to
make
play.
the
He's going
playoffs.
to play in their Week 18 playoff game against Jacksonville next
Right.
week. He'll
Yeah.
start that game.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, that's
Joshua
crazy.
Dobbs.
It's crazy. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun for them. I had fun last night watching the game. I really did. I had circled this game on the schedule as a problem game.
I did too until they lost 5 straight.
Right. This is a team. If you guys recall, the 3 teams that I always bring up when I talk about intestinal fortitude: Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens, and the Titans. You know, they have that persona. Well, they don't have that now. The Titans just don't have that, and the Ravens themselves are having problems as well. The Cowboys. It seems to be the most resilient team in the NFL right now. And like you said, a lot of it because of their own making. You know, being resilient enough to come back from your own mistakes that you caused for no reason. Nate was talking about the interceptions, a happenstance interception versus your own. And we're having too many of our own on top of those happenstance interceptions. And I know it was a drop pass, but
it was a drop pass and then tipped on top of it. Wait, I can catch it.
He missed it 3 times, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, but and the throw into coverage, what was his excuse for that?
None. Bad decision.
Just bad. He gets on a roll, and even with what you see coming from Dak, the mistakes and all that, you still have to marvel at how he comes back and just rights the wrong.
The touchdown, the second one to Schultz.
Dude, huh? Come on, man. That's
and you know what?
That's pinpoint.
That wasn't. I shouldn't say it was improvised, but Schultz told me that during the week they had practiced that play several times, and the ball never came to him. It went to CD. That's where the ball was supposed to go. But because of the way they played it, and the corner stayed with CD, that left the safety with Dalton Schultz. The safety's 5'11", 200. Schultz is 6'5", 255. Who do you think's going to win that jump ball?
And there was a moment as a defensive back, you have a dilemma. Okay, is he going to throw it kind of like back shoulder like he did? It was semi-back shoulder, but he gave.
It was kind of a lob.
It was
right?
a lob, but it wasn't a lob towards the corner of the end zone.
Right.
It was a lob towards the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
So therefore, the DB has to adjust his approach to the ball last minute. He's thinking he's hauling, trying to get to the corner of the end zone. But then as he looks up, it doesn't go corner of the end zone. He has to step. He has to jump up vertically, and of course, that's probably why he messed up his knee.
The 6 inches helped too for
no
extra,
doubt,
right?
no doubt. Yeah.
So, even McCarthy, when he was talking about the interceptions, I think he said the first one was, a drop pass.
Obviously, yeah.
The second one was a bad decision.
A drop in intelligence.
Yeah.
A drop in intellect.
Because I went back to look at it, and I wanted to see if maybe Schultz kind of didn't cut his route right.
That's the way he threw it.
That maybe he was and it was a little bit behind him, and he was never open. He just wasn't open.
So you can't throw it behind him because the guy was trailing too closely.
There was a dump-off pass available to Zeke, I think it was. He probably wouldn't have gotten the first down, but he wouldn't have thrown an interception.
Yeah,
right.
Lesser of the evils.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a guy who was trailing him. It was a ball hawk,
right.
Kevin Byard. I was just looking up how many interceptions does he have in his career? 27 interceptions.
Does he really?
Yep. In fact, now I'm looking up 2 last night. His second year in the league, Byard had 8 picks. That was in 2017. Nice. He's got 27 now in his career, 4 this year, 5 last year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was one guy who did play for Tennessee, who's a regular and a former Pro Bowler, 2-time Pro Bowler who did play for Tennessee in last night's game.
See, and then the other thing that happened, was, even though their linebackers were out, defensive end was out, defensive tackle was out, the Cowboys struggled to run the football.
These guys were
Now,
playing.
These guys are number 2 against the run, and I understand they had guys missing, but they decided we're playing a 5-man front.
Yes.
Basically. And almost every down.
Yes.
And it's like, you want to run the ball? Mm-hmm. Okay, come on. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have 7 guys in the box, especially when you went 2 tight ends.
Right.
3 tight ends, they put 8, 9 guys in the box, right? It's like, no, you're not going to run. And the Cowboys ended up, averaging 2.7 yards a carry. And even when they ran for the touchdown, it was 1st and goal at the 6, and it was a 4-yard run, a 1-yard run, and a half-yard run with a long reach by Zeke to score the touchdown. His 9th straight game with a touchdown, by the way. It was tough sledding in there. And so, now you got to throw the ball. Yeah.
And last year, we would have had an issue with that because what they talked about was being able to play the run and really playing like a 2-man behind that. And that always gave Dak problems. Mm-hmm. And this year, that does not seem to be working, whether it's Philadelphia or Tennessee. He's able to decipher things much better this year, much quicker, and really take advantage of any situation that he recognizes.
And a little more patient, because some of those routes he's throwing to CD, he needed time for those routes to develop.
Offensive line.
Yeah.
We have that travels. We talk about defense traveling. That offensive line is traveling well. If we can't run the ball, then we have the protection to keep Dak comfortable in the pocket. And you're right. There are times when he's back there, he's got 4 comfortable seconds to see what's going on. That's a luxury.
And speaking of
offensive line, tell us what's going on with the offensive line with Tyler Biadasz going down last night.
They traveled to the right. So, and McCarthy said that, they bring what's his name?
Brock Hoffman.
Hoffman, right? He gets elevated off the practice squad as kind of the backup center guard. But obviously, they didn't want to put him in the game. I know he hasn't played yet, right? So the plan was, McCarthy said, when I asked him, is, it was always Connor McGovern moves from left guard to center. Tyler Smith moves from left tackle to left guard. And Jason Peters comes in at left tackle. And, they had a couple plays that they struggled with. There was one that they didn't. Everybody took a guy, but no one took the guy coming through the gap, right? And I think it ended up in that sack.
Yeah.
But other than that, they kind of hung in there. Now we got to see what they do going forward. That was the emergency plan.
And by the way, Brock Hoffman is out of elevations now. That was his 3rd elevation from the practice squad. You only get 3. And they did that earlier in the year with Dakota Shepley, the Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota game. They used his 3 elevations.
Got anybody else on that practice squad?
Aviante Collins, who's not a center, has had 2 elevations.
Right, and he has, I think he might have some center experience.
Out of TCU.
But anyway, so after the game, I was told that, Biadasz is in a walking boot. He didn't really want to talk about it. It's his right foot, and he's lucky because the way he got rolled up on when they showed the replay, they got both knees from behind, right? It's a high ankle sprain, but they didn't think it was of the serious nature that a high ankle sprain can be, where it's at least 4 weeks.
A lesser grade.
Yeah, a lesser, higher. It's high, but it's not as serious as normal. So, the thought was, well, there's 13 days maybe between games if they play the following Sunday, because it could be Saturday, by the way. And then it's another week until you play a playoff game, so he could, have almost 2 weeks to recover. So they're going to have to
we'll see whether that Washington game is going to matter or not. It depends on the New Orleans Saints on Sunday.
Right, because then you would just say, well, there's no sense rushing them back. Just get them ready for the playoffs. But again, if you're going to have to adjust for the playoffs, you better put those guys out there how you want to play the playoffs, at least for a half, right? And I don't know if you say, well, okay, if this is the way it's got to go with McGovern at center, do I take Tyron Smith, put him back at left tackle?
Right.
Is it easier for Peters to play right tackle or rotate with Josh Ball on the right side? And I think that's the decision they'll have to make. That left tackle position pretty important, though, right? So that's one thing that I think they would have to consider.
Tyron looks good.
Yeah.
He looks real good.
There was a couple pass blocks that Jason Peters struggled with. I don't know you want him to play 70 snaps.
I don't know if you have a choice.
Well,
and so then but he's never played right tackle, right? As far as I know.
Until that drive.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Until this year.
He played it for 98 yards, by golly.
Yeah, that's right.
So we got to see.
Which is it's a different dynamic in that decision.
Yeah.
As opposed to what it was, whether you're choosing with Tyler Smith to play left tackle. Now he slides in, and so now it's okay.
I think that's a no-brainer. You got to put Tyron back at left. If that's what we're dealing with, you have to put Tyron back at left, where he's the man. Where he's
right.
To say comfortable is an understatement.
And maybe the decision depends on how long they think Biadasz is out. Is it just one game, or if it's 2 games and you got to go in the playoffs, you better situate it how you want to play in the playoffs, right? So that's one of the things that they got to decide.
All right, we're just getting started on a Victory Friday edition of a Mick Shots, and there's so much more to get to when we come back in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
This is how we country. Country Music's Party of the Year is coming to the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco.
Mick, there's a little thing, the cough button to your left. Just hit it.
Oh, I didn't think things were sounding right. Here we go.
There we go.
The Academy of Country Music Awards are always bringing you the country music's brightest stars together under one roof. And no one does country like Texas. Witness history on May 11th. Get your tickets at ZeatGeek.com.
ZeatGeek?
ZeatGeek. And if you didn't hear the first line, it says, "This is how we country." Country Music's Party of the Year is coming to Ford Center at the Star in Frisco.
No K-Post reading?
I like the country reading there.
I'm kind of changing it up.
You change it up.
K-Post can go second.
I got you.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate in Frisco is in the studio now with us here in the SWBC podcast studio. But my understanding is Nate is just going to listen, although he's got a headset on. He's got a microphone in front of him.
He's never turned down a microphone, even if he's tired.
I tell you what, I have one story. I called Mickey the day of the game. He just read that country thing, right? And he said, "Nate, I don't miss Mississippi as much as I thought because these are some country folks in Memphis." I didn't know how to take that. I did not know how to take that.
Let's turn that around. I said, "Nate, there's a lot of country folks walking around this place."
And he goes, Nashville.
And he goes, "Yeah, that makes Mississippi look good."
Well, Mick can change it up when he wants to.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, about like 55-5.
Oh,
we'll get to 56-5 here. How was your trip to the Grand Ole Opry Wednesday night?
yeah, I don't think that happened.
Oh, okay.
I just walked down Broadway on Thursday, like late morning, early afternoon. Place was packed, and packed with Cowboy fans too, by the way.
Well, that's not surprising.
And you know what? It gave me a new meaning to when people are on those singing shows And they ask him, well, where have you appeared? And they say, well, in Nashville. I sing in Nashville. So I'm thinking they're like concerts all over the place.
Yeah.
No, they're just in these clubs and they're
That's right.
singing and the windows are open
Yeah.
and you walk down the
That's
street
it.
and you hear everybody singing. I'm going, that's what these people were talking about on American Idol. Yeah, I sang in Nashville. Yeah.
No,
All
I
right.
can see that.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to get to our picks to click and how successful we were or were not?
Why do you want to pick this one, Bill? What do you got going on?
I don't have anything going on.
Okay, because you totally missed the
I
score.
did. I met. I didn't totally miss the score.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you did.
totally missed the score.
If you take away, if you turn two interceptions and a fumble into touchdowns, then you're getting close to 56
No,
points.
you're
there.
not, bro.
From 27
You're
plus,
not.
if those turn into touchdowns, there's 48.
You might have got to 40.
Okay,
That's not
if
good.
you missed it, because of
The gas tank
my
situation.
gas tank, I filled up earlier this week, and my gas price, it was $56.05.
Mm-hmm.
So my predicted score on the game was 56-5.
See, I rather, Nate, he just picks the Cowboys to win
by
one.
one. And
Hey, I was the closest, guys.
No, I was.
No, I got 31-13.
Ooh,
It was 27.
It was 27-13.
27-13.
It was a 14-point spread.
Nobody's
Right?
talking about all that.
Wait.
What
So
is
you
he
were
talking about?
31-13.
I was 31-13.
And I was
The score was
and you're
27-13.
31-16.
31-16.
And I had a 15-point spread, and they won by 14.
You missed both scores.
I got the spread right.
Everson got the 13
Nobody's
right.
talking about the spread. What is he talking about? Nobody's ever looked at that.
Yeah.
Now, I can't pick my tight ends because, of course, the tight end was the main one that just coughed up the
But a
incomplete
tight end
pass.
scored two
but Schultz
touchdowns.
had two
That's true.
touchdowns.
Difference in the game right
Okay.
there.
All right, I'll take that.
On DallasCowboys.com, we have a thing called pod picks, obviously, because everybody has to pick games. And we had one person pick the correct score, actually. Broadus did. Exactly.
Oh, God.
27-13.
That's correct.
They don't put mine on there, do they?
They do.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do?
Yes,
if
they
I would have
do.
known
Yes,
that.
they do.
Oh.
So then I am the closest then.
I had no idea.
31-13.
Yes, if you could
and
go
the tight
and
end
check
production is the
Bill
way to go.
Jones's score. And all the-
56-5.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That makes you look like an amateur.
Uh-huh.
It really does.
Truth hurts.
Or worse than that.
I'm going to start having William put Bill's gas bill.
That's right. Just instead of 56-5, put $56.05. All right. So who wins?
I do.
Now, who is your pick to click?
Clark.
Damone Clark.
Nope. Me.
He had a tackle for loss on the last play
That's
of the
great.
game.
That's
He did.
great. I got
And he
tight
got
ends with 2
confused on
touchdowns.
the touchdown.
I got 2 touchdowns. I got tight
On
ends
what
with 2
touchdown?
touchdowns.
The touchdown. That,
No, that wasn't his guy.
I know they was confused on who it was.
That was Diggs's guy.
Yeah, he wind up with that guy.
Yeah.
See, that's the last guy who
The
wind
last
up with
guy
it.
that comes to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Oh, he got beat.
Yeah, I
there's
know he
no
didn't
way
get
they got
beat.
a
They just got
middle
confused.
linebacker covering a wide receiver. Diggs got off of his guy and went to somebody else to help out, and then he guessed wrong.
Guessed wrong again.
He's been guessing again. He's been guessing a lot lately. He's been guessing like Dak's been guessing.
Now, I could have forgiven him if he had got that pick six.
That'd been nice.
That clanged off his hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's an instinctive read right there because you know that they're not going to be going towards the sidelines. You know they're going to try and throw it.
Yeah, he saw
somewhere
it.
towards the middle of the field. That was good stuff.
It was coming.
Yeah.
But again, the injuries still kind of affect this defense when you don't have Van Der Esch in there. I mean, at one point, they were trying to give Barr and Clark a break. They had Luke Gifford and Jabril Cox out there.
I saw that.
Jabril Cox played 14 snaps. That's the most he's had in his career in a single game. I forgot he was active, to tell you the truth. And then the cornerback position, they're still – I mean, it looks like they're going with Nashawn Wright. I mean, he had some moments out there, but then he got the pick.
That's right.
He had 47 snaps.
His most in his career. So
I thought he played well, especially for his inexperience.
Yeah. You know what happened on the deep one when they showed the replay?
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Wilson was back, and for some reason he bit up I don't know what he was biting up on because he didn't come to cover anybody, and then he had no help deep, and Hooker was way on the other side of the field and couldn't get there in time to help him out.
That's about how they play.
Right?
That's about how the Cowboys play.
Yeah.
The coaches put them in position, and if they've been told if you see something and you're sure about it, jumping and as we get closer to playoff football, we can't do that.
Right.
We have to cover our friends' back, our brothers' back, and we have to be sure. And if Nashawn Wright is going to be this guy, and my question to you guys and maybe to Everson is, I've seen teams get on a roll and win with a bunch of turnovers on defense. Can we sustain this? Is this sustainable?
It's 1981, going into San Francisco. Eventually, if we're that blessed, And I remember going into San Fran, we had always been known for giving up the plays, but getting our plays, getting the sacks, kind of a lot like this team. And then we finally get to the championship. The defense finally started playing well, but then now the offense is struggling because this is playoffs.
Right.
So you're going against a hell of a defense, and now you end up, you thought you righted the wrong, but in the end, you still give it up on a big play when it's all said and done. You can't, like you said, it's dangerous going to the playoffs with status quo. You have to somehow step up and make some adjustments. The only thing that made me feel good about yesterday was everything was set up for us to lose. Last year, to me, we would have lost this game. I don't care who would have been playing. I think we would have collapsed offensively. Defensively, they would have picked on us in every injured position in the secondary that we had to deal with. And we didn't. We came out of it. Unfamiliar field. You're on grass.
Yes.
Unfamiliar. Dude, was it humid out there? Were you there? Was it humid?
Well, it was raining.
It was raining. They looked like Emmitt Smith back in Florida, running for all those plays back in the day. His jersey was wet and torn, and you could just tell the humidity was in the air. It looked like they were exhausted out there.
I wrote that in my column. I said they looked like an exhausted team that played 3 games in 12 days.
Yes.
And no excuse, but that's kind of the way it looked.
They didn't need any excuses. That's what I like about the game. They came through all those problems that you could have leaned back on, and they still won the game.
And this is the second time they've went 3 games in 12 days, right?
Yes.
They at first I couldn't get it when Coach McCarthy was trying to tell us that earlier in the week. It's a grind, and I couldn't get it, but I get it now. I mean, even though conditions are different, players get a chance to rest, it's still just the nature of the beast or the physicalness of the game.
Yeah.
And not practicing.
Yeah.
I mean,
short week, travel, it was all set up.
I mean, they practiced, but it wasn't football.
It was Allen Iverson practice.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the defense, they gave up some big plays. I had figured out at halftime, Tennessee at halftime had...
Help him out, Bill.
I got it. Just hang with me.
This is part of the appeal of the show.
That's right.
Mickey looking for whatever he's about to say next.
Mick hits at 70.
I wanted to be
playing the hits.
I wanted to be accurate, right? At halftime, Tennessee had 152 yards. They had 102 on 3 plays. So they were getting hit with big plays. And then in the third quarter, if you take away one possession, it's a 27-6 game and everybody's happy, right? They converted 3 3rd and 6s on that possession and a 4th down conversion. And the last 3rd and 6 was for the touchdown that we talked about.
Right.
So you make one play somewhere in there, it's a different score and everybody's happy with 27-6.
Right.
So is this stretch, and this is not an excuse because Tennessee played the same schedule, this stretch of 3 games in 12 days as opposed to Thanksgiving, is it tougher as players to go Sunday and then play Saturday and then Thursday, or Saturday to Sunday and then Thursday? The middle game being on Saturday, does it make a difference?
The thing that gets you is most coaches try to keep you on a stern schedule. Mm-hmm. And routine. So that's getting disrupted. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of injuries that have occurred. So now you got to try to fix those injuries in a short week, And, yeah, it could be hectic, man, because even though the coaches said we're going to try to run plays that relate to other plays, you still want to put a wrinkle in or a wrinkle there, and it could throw off the young guys.
Right.
And Mickey told me this other day. This team is young. Mm-hmm. This is a very young team, and they've come through this, man. And Coach McCarthy has just done a super job. I think of bringing his team through this, man, because this is the only coach I know in America that has to defend winning. He's the only coach that got to walk up and say, okay, it wasn't pretty. What did we do wrong? But we still won.
Yeah. We got 12 wins. We got 12 wins, but woe was me.
Yeah.
And so from a mindset of a player right now, you just got through that stretch, which is the second time in a month's time that you've played 3 games in 12 days, and now it's New Year's weekend. You get the long weekend. You got 1 game left, and then the postseason. Regardless of whether things fall your way and you win the division, whatever, you know that, okay, at least you're playing next Sunday or Saturday or Sunday in Washington, and then it's the playoffs. Yeah. How does that help you from a mental standpoint get ready now that, okay, you're through this November, December crunch time, and now focus on the playoffs?
Well, this is the end of the season. I mean, this is it. So the grind itself could have caught up with you. You're
past the grind now.
Yeah, you're past the grind, and you have a reprieve coming up as well with the number of days that you have before you play the Commanders. That's what I like about it. They kind of get to rest going into the playoffs. So you kind of look at it like, timing is everything. With the Cincinnati Bengals.
Now that you got the W on Thursday, it's like, all right, we got an advantage over everybody else now.
Right.
I can't tell you how good that win felt because everything was set up for you to lose. Everything was set up for you to start having dominoes fall as opposed to setting them up.
DeMarcus Lawrence was pretty good about the perception. I was standing there when he said this. He said, once you all see a game like Minnesota, you instantly think that's how every game's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. He said, I wish. Yeah. He said, but it's not. You have to be able to fight through adversity. I think it comes with the territory. And then somebody said about, well, it's a win, but the Cowboys get criticized. He goes, I think it comes with the territory of being a Dallas Cowboy, in all honesty. You all question every damn thing. But he was right.
He was right.
He has a way of putting things, and he had a hell of a game. Mm-hmm. He had 5 tackles. He had a quarterback hit, forced fumble, and 2 passes defended at the line of scrimmage. So that was a Pro Bowl performance.
I told you, that's my guy, right? We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Earlier this week.
This is where we'll learn a lot about the Cowboys. These next 3 days, they're off, right? Mm-hmm. We should be able to call every guy on his cell phone and say, hey, man, where you at? Just catch him off guard. Man, I'm at home.
I'm sleeping.
I'm over here to the training room.
Right.
Because that is the only solution. No, that is the only solution you have. If any guy, and I'm talking about playing significant snaps for the Dallas Cowboys, is out doing anything
You're
else.
Not hanging out at the Cowboys Cafe?
Yeah, nah. That was a different breed of guy. That was a different. You got to understand. Now, let me go through that real quick. See, I took the approach as a coach. I took the approach as a coach. I don't care how many games we play, you're going to be in your pads. I don't care how many games we played, I'm going to be out drinking. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, thank you for bringing your customers to me.
I'm going to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be consistent, coach, I'm going to be consistent.
All right, we'll wrap up Mick Shots in just a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, from corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, and that's kpostcompany.com.
All right, final 9 minutes here of Mick Shots. We get you ready for the new year. Mickey, what you got on your legal pad?
I never figured out the fumbled snap, like what happened there. I was thinking.
It looked like he pulled away too.
He pulled away too soon.
Yeah, he's pulled away too soon. That's what it looked like, because it seemed as if once he finally did he even touch the ball or tried to touch it, it seemed like he was already.
He was backing up. I didn't know if the ball was wet because it had rained. It really rained that first quarter, by the way, you guys. I don't know if you could see it on TV, but it was coming down. That was a weird one.
That was on deck. I have a shot of it.
That's
totally
what I said.
Yeah,
it looked
close
pretty,
up.
It looked pretty obvious. Why is he moving out so fast? Why is he? That's just didn't make any sense. And once again, still able to overcome those mistakes. So it's just weird.
Yeah,
that's why I don't know why I'm so happy about that game.
And in that first half, they had those big plays I pointed out. 39, 33, and 30, and the worst they did was give up field goals. So,
looked like on that snap that Dak was pulling out, and he was pivoting, and he was gonna roll left, and he knew he had to get there in a hurry.
He was going to foul
because CD
was in motion.
And
I don't think I've ever seen him fumble a snap.
Yeah,
do you recall?
That might have been one of those that he was going to go left and throw it to CD, who was in motion on the run. Because they ran one like that the other way, too, by the way.
Did I tell y'all I don't miss Amari Cooper anymore? Did I say that?
No, you haven't said that.
I have not missed Amari Cooper in a long time. Say about at least 6 weeks.
Because of CD.
Because of CD.
You miss OBJ?
Nope, because of T.Y.
T.Y., man. See?
They increased his snaps from 12 to 22, and I would imagine that goes up another 10.
And he's where he needs to be
in 2 weeks,
at all
it'll
times.
be up to 45.
Yes.
He's where he needs to be when Dak needs him. You see? He's always going to run the right route
coming
the perfect
out of
way.
the slot on that slant for the first down. I mean, golly. And the one that he caught and ran with, it was a short pass, and he got 20 yards.
Right.
And he almost had that deep one. Because he did the same thing. He kind of like kept his arms in the last minute, and he needed one more step. And he would have, because you know what? When I recognized when he was in, that cornerback was off 10 yards, right? And the safety was hovering over the top. It's like, no, not on us, right? And he's fast, but it's kind of hard to make up 10 yards, right? But yeah, what a find. Right.
I mean, what a thought process. We're throwing the ball deep. We're actually consciously throwing the ball deep. And look what happens when you throw the ball deep.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Well, the odds are you might get a PI. And we end up getting, I think, 2 of them.
They got
deep passes.
PI, was it 2? Yeah, it was 2, right?
It was 2, 1 deep. I know. I thought it was 2 of them were deep, but what it did is it just shows that, most defensive backs are not ready for that. So don't let them off the hook by always bailing them out with short routes. We need to threaten them deeply, and that's what happened.
Yeah, Gallup had one of them, right? The guy mugged him. It was really funny because when they showed the replay in the stadium, everybody started booing. I'm going, oh, my gosh.
I thought CD lost track of the ball.
On his deep one?
Yes. I didn't think I thought he made an unnecessary move.
Was there sun?
If he were to keep...
Just ask him.
You were there, Mick. Tell us.
It was that sun.
Maybe the raindrops, right?
All right, let me ask you this. 5:51 left in the game after the Nashon Wright interception. Cowboys are up 27-13.
You want them to run all 3 plays?
Zeke ran for nothing, which was typical all night. Mm-hmm. And then incomplete to CD, incomplete punt. And 4:55 left. So you ran 55 seconds off the clock on that possession. Why are you throwing it there? I'm just asking.
You are who we thought you were.
Maybe they thought it was too easy.
Mm-hmm.
We are who we thought you were. That's you are who we thought you were. That's what I can say. Like you say, it's just in his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
He can't help himself.
You know, you have great receivers, and you got T.Y. Hilton, and once a quarter, you're gonna take a shot. Mm-hmm. Twice a game, Kellen Moore gonna take a shot.
And how much?
Not at that time. I think what he was trying to do.
That's what he's gonna do.
He was trying to put a drive together to take time off the clock. That was supposed to be his deliberate plays to take time off the clock. But if you're not completing the pass, then of course it's counterproductive.
And I don't think they were going tempo. On the previous drive, they went tempo, taking over at 9:45 left, which was the field goal drive. They got them up 27-13.
Which, by the way, this guy's money. That was the 45-yard?
Yep.
I mean, that was basically to seal the game,
That's
right? And he just right down the middle.
I know. Love this guy.
He's amazing.
We got the best kickers in the league.
And I wondered if, it's the opponent factoring into this. Okay, we can just go ahead and throw it here, and because this game's in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. I don't want to go because they won. I don't want to be that guy. But you don't ever be counterproductive with your team as a coach, especially as a quarterback and your defensive leader. You don't do things that
behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you just don't. And we do that a couple of games, and we've learned to accept it.
Because we won.
Yeah. So, but this is who I think the Cowboys is. I mean, even if when we get into the playoffs, we can go to Tampa, we can go to wherever we're going, to Carolina, and it's going to be a time where you say, "Wow." We
didn't have to do that.
Yeah, we didn't have to do that, but. It's because I knew what play you was bringing up. Because the first thing I said, looking at the game, I said, "Wow, Nick Saban would have pulled Kiffin to the side and said, look at that. That's why you're in Mississippi,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't stay here with that.
Right.
You know? But that's who we are.
But they're trying to close the game. They average 2.7 yards a carry. So if you ran the ball, okay, fine, you're giving it back.
Because it's been in the last couple of months of the season, they have been running the ball. I mean,
yes, I know.
Especially second half of games where they would have a 12-play touchdown drive, and there's 9 runs on that touchdown drive.
Well, the next time they got the ball.
But they weren't having the success running the ball against Tennessee.
Yeah, he was trying to get a drive going to take time off the clock.
Yeah,
and it just
keep the ball.
Yes.
Because the next drive, when it came with like 3 minutes left, 3 and change.
3:44.
They ran.
Zeke won,
and it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7.
I don't recall who he passed it to.
He did a smoke.
CD.
He did a smoke screen to CD, which is basically a run, right? And it's a safe pass
got him 100
it's
yards.
not going to stop.
That's what got him.
But
it's not going to stop the clock, right?
Got him 100 yards.
Why we need to seal this win? Hey man, you ready for
you got your third straight 100-yard game here. Here you go.
We got 2 yards to get you 100.
Tempo works, but see, tempo works both ways. You walk out of the huddle, you look at the clock, and you snap it with 2 or 3 seconds left. Simple works both ways, and that's all Bill is saying.
Yeah.
You know, we could have got a minute and 55 or 2 minutes because we'd been walking out of the huddle. I mean, I knew we weren't gonna run the ball. You
just knew it.
You knew it. I mean, bro, I was glad. I was wondering why we didn't throw more shorter passes because they couldn't cover CD.
Right.
They couldn't cover TY and our tight ends. I was like, wow, why we ain't dinking and dunking?
Right.
Because them boys. You saw Zeke, man. I'm finna get out of this. Hey, Malik.
Did you see him? Zeke was tired, man.
They hit him so hard one time. He looked at Malik like.
I saw that too. He was on the sideline.
No,
like, come on.
The one run he had, though, he didn't even get hit. He just said, I'm not getting hit. And he went down.
You never seen Zeke do that, man.
Zeke looked tired, man.
Yeah.
He looked tired. That was funny.
I just.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about, the exhaustion. I just looked like a tired team at times.
And once again, looked tired, but still came through with the play
and
they needed to make.
probably a little mentally tired, too.
Yeah.
Right?
And still won the game.
Yeah.
And yes, we're playing against back, all that. Still won the game.
Bill, you played football in your days?
Up to my sophomore year in high school.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you ever get ridiculed for winning? I'm serious. Just think now for the last 4 weeks, Coach McCarthy had been dreading to come to the mic. I mean,
I didn't win.
Yeah. So every win was a Super Bowl.
You know what? I was telling the story.
Every meal was a banquet.
I was telling the story yesterday. I said, when I was 4th grade. Okay, first year I played organized football, Irving YMCA, we won the championship. We had a quarterback named Neil Turner who was all American, okay?
Right.
We won the championship game at Irving School Stadium 42-7. Next year, I played for the Army. I was the starting quarterback.
Oh,
you know how many touchdowns we scored that year? 0. At the end of the season, they went and got me glasses, and I'm like, well, no wonder I couldn't play quarterback. I couldn't see the receiver. It was like a whole new world opened up to me. I got these glasses now. I would have been an Hall of Fame quarterback.
Like Harlem Nights, Red Fox.
Yeah.
All right.
They were scared to play me, so I never got exhausted.
I would be scared for you to play.
Yeah, my mom was too. Mm-hmm. Although there was one game we were sophomore year, we're undefeated, and we had to play Thornridge, which was a really good football school, and they had this freshman named Quinn Buckner. We all knew about Quinn Buckner, right? And he didn't play the first time we met. We played him twice that year. We beat him the first time. The second time, all we could talk about, this Quinn Buckner's playing in this game. They would put him all over the place. He played safety, linebacker, running back, wide receiver.
Was he big then?
Yes, he was. And I was watching this stuff, right? And we were punting. No, we were punting to them. He catches the punt. He's coming up field. No one's tackling him, and we got one guy back. And the guy back was my size, right? He didn't even put a move on the guy. He just ran over and flattened him. And at that point, I'm looking at him going, I really don't want to get in this game.
Wow.
And he was only a freshman.
I was going to say, I was looking at the different. I just looked him up. Wait a second. Quinn Buckner can't be 70.
Yes,
He's 68 years old.
That's
wow.
crazy,
He
man.
was a freshman.
It reminded me of my cousin who played against Herschel Walker. Told me, man, I tackled Herschel Walker. I hit him with everything I had. I said, well, y'all slowed him down? Yeah, for 107 yards.
All right, that does it for a Friday edition of Mick Shots. Y'all got big New Year's Eve plans, right?
Not really. And by the way,
we got football tomorrow. We got
do.
playoff games
I'm watching
tomorrow.
football.
TCU?
I might try to go to church.
Church?
Yeah.
New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve?
New Year's
talking
Eve
about church
bash?
and chicken.
Church is chicken.
Okay, on the record.
Know where you're going to be.
On the
Nate.
record, who's winning the college bowl games tomorrow?
I'm always a
TCU,
homer.
Michigan,
I'm a homer, dude.
TCU,
I'm a
Michigan,
homer.
Ohio State, Georgia.
As much as I like
TCU,
Michigan
man.
running back, I'm going with TCU.
I want TCU to win.
Yeah, I want them to. I want somebody
TCU
from
has a good
Texas.
running back.
Yeah.
TCU has a good
I
running
think they're
back.
going to surprise people.
Okay, so we're in agreement. TCU.
Yeah.
Go
If the
Horned
TCU
Frogs.
fans can get to the game,
And they're going to play who in the national championship game?
Ohio
State or Georgia?
Come on, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia.
Kill them.
Yeah.
Kill them, Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay, TCU, Georgia. Mickey,
Yeah,
okay.
I think
We're in
so.
agreement. It's TCU, Georgia in the national championship game. All right, that does
Depends
it
on
for
what my gas tank say.
Mick.
Yeah, the gas tank will be 56.
Good job, Nate. Good job, Nate.
All right, Happy New Year, everybody. See you Monday.
Go Cowboys.
Or Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday?
Yeah.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!